Alright gang, we're back with another YouTube video. We are doing a sprint day, so it's supposed to be like a max velocity day, but we're kind of just doing intensive tempos. Because I had a little bit of a hamstring tweak a couple weeks ago, last week I was kind of fucking all over the place with my training, had graduation, family in town, so I think it's still a good place to be. So we're just going to do that. We'll be training with John today, so if he wants to pull the speed gates out, I still may get maybe a couple flying 10s just to see where we're at, but that's not going to be the majority of the workout. Yeah, but anyways, we're just starting with some split squat isos, little isometric circuits. We'll do a split squat iso, some kind of hamstring iso, and then I'll do my spring ankle, kind of more of like a straight knee calf, maximal calf isometrics, overcoming isometric, and just kind of using this as my prep for basically a prep for the sprint prep. Yeah. And then after sprints, we've got back squats. So this week we're doing a 2x2. I've just kind of been surfing my way down from that 5x5, but only doing 2 hard sets. So 2 hard sets of 2 this week. And then dropping into just some accessories. So Nordic hamstring curls, some kind of groin thing. I'll probably do a lateral slider lunge. That usually feels pretty good, gets me feeling pretty good. And that's probably about it. That's probably all we'll do. Ugh. Okay, we hit about almost 2 minutes on that. And with this isometric here, fucking absolutely great way to cook the quads. But just feeling my knee a little bit lately, so I want to get back into some more knee isometrics. These usually feel really good. Get some length through that hip flexor, and just cook the quads a little more. This one I'm thinking about driving that knee back while I push this other hip forward to get that internal rotation. You could also do it the other way, but I'll do a set here and maybe a set the other way. Whew. All right, 15 seconds. This is cooking. We are cooking. Oh my God, this is fucked. Ugh. So the gym is absolutely blasting music, which is great for the vibes, but maybe not so much for the video. But basically all we're doing here is a longer hamstring isometric, just trying to warm up the muscle and the tendon in a position that is somewhat similar to the type of running I'm about to do on the track. And then we're moving on to a belt squat calf isometric with the same idea. It's not quite overcoming right now because I'm holding it for so long, but basically I'm just pushing into the block and warming up my calf in a position that is going to be similar to what it's going to see on the track. This is a good way to build sport-specific strength or sprint-specific strength as the muscle needs to hold tension while that tendon stretches and then recoils and gives us elastic energy. Ugh. All right, we're gonna run this one more time around and then hit the track. All right, dudes, we're on the track. We've done a sufficient warm-up. That's all you need to know. Wasn't that crazy, but today we're just doing some tempo. So we got probably 480s, 400s. We'll see how the intensity is as we progress. All right, guys, not bad. Absolutely have no idea how long that was. But good intensity will probably stay there, maybe go a little bit more. All right, guys, hammy feels way better when we get the arms going, shoulders rotating. I think it just helps get my hamstrings a little bit more elastic. I'm not trying to like muscle my way through the sprint. But that's why we're doing these tempos, so we can get more practice running at faster speeds and get more ground contacts that are not max intent, but they're still like pretty high intensity. So think of it like extensive plyos, extensive pogo hops that I've done in the past. Kind of like that, but like sprinting, so faster ground contacts. Yeah. So we got one more of these 80s, and then we're gonna bust out to some 100s.
You doing lower body after this?
Yeah.
I feel split squats.
Back squats.
Oh, excellent.
I think this week will be 135 kgs.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week we can get 140. That'll be the heaviest squat I've ever done for
Nice.
a heaviest deep squat for sure.
Excellent.
Be sick. All right, guys, camera is overheating, so we'll see how much we can get here. Hopefully we get 1 or 2 more. We'll see though. You know what we're doing. That's our first 100. Try 3 more of those. All right, we got 1 more rep here, and then we're gonna go inside and get our back squats and lifting in. Runs are going pretty well though. Runs are going well. All right, guys, that's the session. Lots of volume, a little bit lower intensity, but really good to just, you know, get those hamstrings, calves, post-tibialis under some more stress, some less intensity, higher volumes, build some tissue, and just work on the technique and see how much better we can get after doing this for a few weeks. All right, we're just gonna warm this up and then we're gonna fucking bang it out. Hopefully we get 135 today for at least 1 set of 2.
So I was feeling a little bit tired from the track, but as these warm-ups progress, I'm feeling absolutely juiced. The vibes in the gym were good. I had some music that was getting me fired up, and I had my good friend and mentor, John, lifting right beside me, also getting me fired up. So the vibes were good, and the weight was moving fast, and it led to a pretty unreal result.
Let's do it. Let's go. Hell yeah.
Hey, I didn't think you were going to give
Woo! For the vlog. The boys are fucking PRing today. PR or ER, baby. Let's go. Hey.
So after our squat session, we just moved on to some accessories. Like I said earlier, we've got the Nordic hamstring curl, really just trying to keep my hips tucked under here as much as I can while I fall forward to make sure I'm really using my hamstrings and not overcompensating with my calves and low back. And then I moved on to that lateral slider lunge. And here we're just getting a little bit more squat volume or lunge volume, if you want to say, but we're moving in that lateral plane. So we're getting our groin a little bit involved and just trying to keep those tissues moving because we're not playing a lot of sports. We don't play a lot of sports. We don't move in that direction much. So if I want to keep those tissues healthy, I got to work them in the accessories.
Ross is giving us a little feature here. Like a backflip? Oh yeah.
So finishing up here, we've got some deep tier squat hops, and I'm going forward and then up. And with these, I'm really just trying to get some exposure into these deep, low positions, as well as in these steep shin angles as I roll from heel to toe, get that steep shin angle before I hop forward. I'm also getting some exposure in this deep squat position, learning how to relax and contract in and out of the bottom and have fluid yielding movement.
I was inspired by Tim Riley today to make a good YouTube video. But anyways, not really sure how this one's gonna turn out. I had the volume turned way down on the mic for like probably 85% of the video. But absolutely fucking wicked session. So today my goal, or like the plan, was to do
to work up for 2 heavy sets of 2 at about 135 kilograms. I don't really know how much that would be, maybe like 300 pounds, something like that. I'll put it in the video. But basically we ended up getting 140. So we ended up getting 315 or whatever 140 is in pounds, but basically 3 blue plates, which is like the 45s. So super hyped about that. That was not the plan. The plan was to get that for 1 next week, and we managed to get it for 2 this week. And then basically I just shut the squat down after that, hit the PR. Absolutely stoked about it. And then we just did some accessories. So Nordics, lateral, slider lunge, and then some deep tier squat hops to finish this bitch out. But that was the video. Fucking electric session. Stay tuned for the next one. We'll see what it is. We'll see what we decide to film next.